Good morning everyone, how are you today? Now, in my last video I went through all my currently inked pens that I was going to use for December 2024. We're now nearing the end of December and I just wanted to go over and actually do a little bit of a swatch with you of the Diamine Inkvent 2023 inks that I used. With a big inky thanks to Darla. So Darla is the one that sent me these inks, and I've had a great deal of joy writing with these inks in my pens this month. But yeah, I just thought, because I didn't really do a swatch for you before, I just did, you know, a little writing sample. So we're going to do a bit of a swatch and a writing sample, and I'm going to go through each one of them and how I found them. Now, one of the pens I've already written dry, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let's get started. The first one I've got for you here is the Fireside Snug. Now this was a standard ink, a really lovely ink. I like the Diamine inks, they're quite good quality. And they're a very good price point. So that's the first one we have. And I had this particular ink, Fireside Snug, in my Pilot E95S with a 14 karat medium nib. Now, I know the Pilot Vanishing Point is an 18 karat medium nib. Is the E95S an 18 karat or a 14 karat? I never remember. If you know, please put it in the comments below. Anyway, mine has a really lovely medium nib, and I so enjoyed this ink, and I found, so it's in the Pilot E95S. We'll just put medium because I can't remember whether it's 14 karat or 18 karat. And inked with, so these are from the Inkvent calendar 2023, so last year's Inkvent 2023, and it's called Fireside Snug. Now, one of the reasons I really enjoyed using this ink is because I actually found, one, it's a standard ink, so it's safe to put in a lot of pens. Two, it actually showed up some shading in my writing, which was lovely to see. So, and I just like the colour of it. So, did you know the colour orange evokes creativity? Here's a little bit of trivia for you. Now the next one I inked up was this Velvet Emerald. That was a beautiful ink. It's also a standard ink, and I had it in my Pilot Vanishing Point with an 18 karat fine nib, and I enjoyed it so much that I've actually written this pen dry. So I can't do a writing sample with the pen for you, but I've got my Aro Yasuchi dip pen here that I can do for that one. But let's do a little sort of ink swatch. This is a really pretty teal colour. Oh, someone's outside doing something in their garden with power tools. Can you hear it? I hope not. Very sorry if you can. It's really hard to find a quiet time of the day to record. That's what I find anyway. Anyway, so this one is Velvet Emerald. And even though it's not in there now, but I will just put what I had it in. I had it in my, I'm not dipping it down enough, am I, or am I? Okay. I had it in my Pilot Vanishing Point. Oh no, I'm not getting enough ink on the pen. There we go. vanishing, making a mess, vanishing point in the black and gold, an 18 karat fine nib, and it was inked with, I'm not going to put Inkvent 2023 for all of them, there's no need because I've got it up there at the top, and this was Velvet Emerald. Now, I'm not a fan of the Con 40 converters in the Pilot pens. So I tend to just grab a cartridge, an empty cartridge, flush it completely, dry it, and then I re-ink it with whatever ink of my choice with a syringe. That's my preferred way of using a Pilot pen with ink. I've had many failed attempts with Con 40 converters over the years, and I've even taken them out and filled them up with ink with a syringe and then popped it in the pen, but I just find it doesn't give me enough ink. For some people that's enough ink. For me it's not. I go through a lot of ink, so if I'm going to do a fill in a pen, I want to do a full fill. But that's just me. So that was, I enjoyed writing with that so much that I've actually written it dry, which is a good sign, isn't it? And the other pens I have left, there's not a great deal of ink left in them, so that's why I wanted to do this video first, so you could actually see how I've enjoyed the ink in the pens. Now the next one we have here is the Sugar Snap. It is a shimmer ink. It's a beautiful green. It really is. I had a lot of joy writing with this, with all the sparkles and everything. So I've actually had that one in my Esterbrook SD in Rainforest with a broad nib, and it handled it beautifully. So let's do the little swatch first though. It's just a really nice green too. I don't want to do too much. There we go. Okay. So that's the third ink. Just going to put that there. And as I said, I've had it in my Esterbrook SD Rainforest with a broad nib. I'm just going to roll it slightly between my hands to agitate the glitter particles in it. So, and I don't have a lot left in this, so I'm hoping I've got enough. Just to do this. This Esterbrook SD with the broad nib handled the shimmer in the pen beautifully, which was nice. This one is called Sugar Snap. I'm almost tempted to get a big bottle of this one. So I think that's why I've enjoyed these inks. It's actually a good indication. It gives you enough ink to play with. Well and truly, I've still got quite a few fills left in these bottles. I don't even have to think about buying a big bottle yet. But it gives me a good indication of whether or not I'm going to enjoy using the ink in a few different pens. And then I can decide whether I want to get a big bottle of it. So that's the third one. The next one is a chameleon ink. It's Bar Humbug. It is, the chameleon ink's more like a two-tone ink with shimmer as well, I think. Anyway, really beautiful. I've enjoyed writing with this one as well. I've enjoyed them all, to be honest. But in the end, I'll actually go through what my favourite, I'll pick 3 favourites out of them and what I enjoyed the most. This one's a beautiful, deep, rich burgundy wine colored ink. And I had that one in my Esterbrook SD in Botanical Gardens. It's got a medium nib. Diamine Humbug. There we go. So that's that one. Now the next one I put in a pen was the Diamine Tinsel, and it is a shimmer ink. It's also very pretty. I had it in another Esterbrook SD pen, which worked well. It's a beautiful red, like almost like a candy cane red. So this is the Esterbrook SD I had it in. I had it in my tortoise, and it has a medium nib. And as you can see, these pens have handled shimmer inks beautifully. There's been no hard starts or anything like that. Inked with Diamine Tinsel. So that's that one. As you can see, look at the way the colours even complement each other. Okay, so the next one we've got here is Nightfall. Now this one is a chameleon ink. Beautiful colour, beautiful deep sort of blue night sort of, well, it's called Nightfall. So, and it's perfect description of it really. Okay. Worried I've actually put too much ink down on the paper and it's never going to dry. Okay, so I had, oh look, I've even got ink on me now. So I had that one in my River City Pen Co. pen. Has a medium nib, and I believe this blanket didn't really have a name when I got it. It's probably about 4 years old, I think, maybe 5. So I call it my Enchanted Forest pen because I believe that's sort of got green, black, gold, bit of grey. It reminds me of an Enchanted Forest, so that's why I called it that. Oh, I've got ink there too. Gosh, I'm getting ink everywhere now. So this is in the River City Pen Company Enchanted Forest. Has a medium nib and inked with Diamine Nightfall. So that's the next one. Now the one after this, It's a very light coloured ink. It's called Weeping Willow. It is a standard ink. It's a very nice, very pale green. It almost reminds me a little bit of Troublemaker Kelp Tea. So if you don't have Weeping Willow and you've got Kelp Tea, you're getting a bit of an indication as to sort of the colour and the tone of the ink that you can expect with this Weeping Willow. I hope that makes sense. As you can see, very, very light. And I had that particular ink in my Visconti Van Gogh, the novel reader. It has a medium nib, and it handled it well. Don't get me wrong, it did. But it's just, I think the ink was almost too light for me to write with. Wrong way. Oh, I'm still doing it. Visconti. Sorry about the mistakes. Visconti Van Gogh. As you can see, it is legible, but at night time I found it hard writing with this ink, and I do most of my letter writing in the evenings, so I found it a little bit hard on the eyes, this one at night. It's called the Novel Reader. It's in a medium nib, and it was inked with Diamine Weeping Willow. Now the interesting thing about this one is it looks like it's got a little bit of chroma shading in it. It goes down as like a very pale green, but then it dries to this browny sort of chroma shading colour, and you can see undertones of green and pink through it. It's a very interesting ink. Now the next one we've got here is Rainbow's End. This one is a chameleon ink, so it's like a purple ink with a bit of pink and shimmer. It's probably the best way I can describe it. Very, very pretty. For the purple fans out there, really pretty. So that's that one. This one's called Rainbow's End. And I had it in my Just Turnings Unicorn Blood pen with a medium nib. So, Just Turnings Unicorn Blood, medium nib, and it is inked with Diamine Rainbows End. So that was absolutely lovely to write with. No hard starts whatsoever. The shimmer ink, or sorry, the chameleon ink handled all the shimmer and particles very well. Now last but not least is this Bucks Fizz. Now I believe this is Miss Marilyn Darling's favourite ink out of the Diamine Inkvent 2023 calendar, and I can understand why. It's I had a lot of joy writing with this ink. It just seemed to put a smile on my face every time I picked up my pen and wrote with it. Just want to do a bit more there to get that shimmer. Now I had that one in my TWSBI Eco Tea in Saffron. It has a broad nib. It's still got a little bit of ink in it, as you can see. And just thoroughly enjoyed writing with this one. So it's the TWSBI Eco Tea in Saffron. Has a broad nib and inked with Diamine Bucks Fizz. Oh, just, do you know what it reminds me of? A cream popsicle, you know, like a peach sort of cream popsicle. Or we call them ice blocks here in Australia, or ice creams, but I think in the rest of the world we call them popsicles. But that's what it reminds me of when it dries, and you can see all that sort of that shimmer. That's what it reminds me of. So they're the inks that we have. I'll just put the pens here and talk a little bit about how I found them. So these are the 9 pens and the 9 inks that I decided to pull from the package that Darla sent me and use them for December, and have enjoyed all of them immensely. I really have, and I can't wait to try out the others. But I think my favorites out of the 9, and it's kind of hard because I really enjoyed them all, but the standout favorites for me were the Fireside Snug in the Pilot E95S, purely because it's and I've just put my arm in ink, purely because it's a standard ink. So I think it would work well in any pen that you put it in, and it showed shading when in the writing. So I enjoy seeing those nuances, I guess, in the ink. I don't know if I'm using the right word there, but I enjoy seeing all that shading. And it just makes the ink look a little bit different, and you can see your pressure points as they go down on the paper, and I don't know. It's just a beautiful ink to write with. I really enjoyed it. And as I said, the colour orange evokes creativity. So for those of you who are wanting to spark some creativity, pull out an orange ink and start writing with it. The next one I really loved is this Bucks Fizz. Hard to beat. It was just so pretty. And I'm not much of an orange person. Like in everyday life, I'm not an orange person. I never wear the colour orange. I never decorate my house with a colour orange, but I really like writing with orange ink. So the second one for me was the Diamine Bucks Fizz. I just enjoyed seeing it. It was very pretty to write with and see all the shimmer in the ink and everything, and just yeah, very pretty, very pretty. And the next one, my third one, that's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a toss-up between the Sugar Snap and the Bar Humbug. The Bar Humbug is just a beautiful, rich, deep burgundy wine colour, and I do love those coloured inks. I love the Diamine Zero. That is one of my favourite inks. So I think the fact that that's in that colour family here, but as you can see, it's got a little bit of a greeny sheen to it, and it has red shimmer through it. It's just beautiful, perfect colour for Christmas, but also just a lovely colour that I think I would want to use throughout the year as well. Same with the Sugar Snap. That's another ink. It's a shimmer ink, but it's another one that I could see myself using throughout the year, not just at Christmas time. In saying that, I really loved Velvet Emerald too, and I had that in my Pilot vanishing point and wrote that one dry. So I obviously really loved picking that pen up and just writing with that. And I think it was more the pen and ink pairing with that. I wrote a lot of letters with that. But yeah, so I think they're my stand-up favourites. The Fireside Snug, the Bar Humbug, and the Bucks Fizz. I think. I know it's hard. I mean, let me know in the comments below. Do you have these inks? Which one out of the Diamine Inkvent 2023 calendar was your favourite? And if you don't have them, you know, is it something that you would consider trying to get samples of and try yourself? Because I think a lot of these inks can be used at other times throughout the year, not just at Christmas time. Particularly the Fireside Snug, like I would use that in our autumn here in Australia. So our autumn months are March, April, May. So I would use that colour then. Same with Bucks Fizz, same with Bar Humbug. Whereas the Velvet Emerald, the Sugar Snap, and the Nightfall I might use throughout the rest of the year. Maybe summer, spring. I'd use the Nightfall in winter maybe. Rainbow's End, you could use that at any time of the year because it's purple with a bit of a copper sheen and the pink shimmer. I don't know. It's interesting. But yes, big inky thanks to Darla for sending me these. I've thoroughly enjoyed writing with them. And as I said, there isn't a lot of ink left in them now. So I just wanted to come on, quickly do this video and do a bit of a writing sample with you and go over the ones, go over the pen and ink pairings and how I've enjoyed them all. So I will leave it there for now. Thank you so much for watching and for sort of saying subscribe to my channel. I know videos have been a little bit hit and miss in the last few months, and it's because we've had much going on in our family. I'm hoping with the new year that I get into more of a rhythm with it again and find the time to record more videos for you. But until then, take care everyone, and I'll see you back here next time. Bye.